Our meeting will come to order.
Thank you.
Welcome to our July regular meeting of the Fayette County School Corporation's Board of School Trustees. Glad to see those of you that are here. And again, I say welcome to our meeting. Will you join me in a pledge of allegiance to our flag? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. President, before you get going farther, may I share something with you? This is Indiana's bicentennial, we know that, and a few weeks ago there was a presentation down at Roberts Park about our representative who was on that Constitutional Committee, and I was reminded when they talked about the Constitution elm tree in Corydon, Indiana. And I remember when my own children were much smaller, we took a field trip of our own, and went to some historic sites, and we went to Corydon. And while I was there, I purchased a gavel that was made from the wood from the Constitution elm. It says wood from Constitution elm, 1816, Corydon, Indiana. And so for a while, I thought, if you be somewhat gentle, I would loan you. It seems pretty sturdy. I thought it would be appropriate for the Board of School Trustees to use a gavel from a historic tree in the state of Indiana during our bicentennial.
Thank you, sir. And
So there you go.
I will be gentle.
All right.
I will be gentle. That's interesting.
It is.
Thank you.
Yeah, I forgot all about having that, so they brought it up and said, I've got to bring that in, and
There we
let our
go.
president use that gavel.
All right. Great. Okay, then we have a school recognition. Mr. Judd, I assume that's going to be you tonight.
You'll notice I don't have any teachers or students with me, so we're not going to talk too much about what's going on at CHS, other than allowing one of our great early college high school partners from Ivy Tech, Chad Bolser, who is president of the Richmond and Connersville campuses, to talk about some exciting things going on in our partnership and in Connersville. So, Chad, if you want to come forward, and everyone, this is Chad Bolser.
That's where he comes from. You played basketball for Richmond.
I did not play basketball for Richmond,
Oh, you were not that.
but my brother did.
Your brother
and,
did.
And he could shoot it and looks a little bit like me, but not.
Clay.
Well, that was the other one. He couldn't shoot it.
I think as a Connersville Spartan fan, I like that.
Now I did happen to coach the team for a while.
Okay.
So that might be where we. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm a basketball fan.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's good stuff.
Good stuff.
This is really a great opportunity, and I appreciate you having me here, and I appreciate, I can't tell you how much I've appreciated working with this school corporation's administration. Let me just say this to you, and I get the opportunity, first of all, being a statewide institution as Ivy Tech is, we work intimately with schools all around the state. And I get the pleasure of working in our particular region, which serves 5 counties: Franklin, Rush, Fayette, Wayne, and Union. Now, we're the smallest region, and we have a unique population. But your administrative staff, and I think your staff, get it. And they get the purpose of what we're doing here. And so one of the really cool things that I'm going to share tonight, so many times in education we talk about how we don't get along, how we're in competition with each other, how we're not utilizing our services together. And tonight what I'm going to do is tell you a story about how and why we're here together as a group of folks that are saying to this community, we believe in the educational process here. And so there's just going to be a little bit. It's not a full detailed plan. We could spend the next 6 hours talking about this, and I'm going to be mindful of your time because, quite frankly, I could talk for an hour and a half on this particular process just because it is, I really do think, the model of way things are supposed to work. So I've I did bring a PowerPoint because I think when you sign your contract at Ivy Tech, you are legally obligated to travel with a PowerPoint at all points in time. So I'll make sure and get this one up and hopefully do this okay. This is a really, really great partnership that has started. We've been doing this for a lot of years, well before the time that I was here, and so, but I'm going to tell you how this is accelerated, and I'm going to really say to you, I want to answer the question why we're here today. Why are you here today? Obviously, you all have a meeting and you have school business, but I'm here because this partnership and the students of Fayette County and the students of Connersville are critically important to what our mission is at Ivy Tech. We must reflect the community, and we must do everything that we can to do that. And so there's been a lot of talk about Ivy Tech Community College leaving Connersville. If you've heard that, it doesn't take all you have to do is turn left twice and you'll run into someone that will say, oh, you're from Ivy Tech, are you guys leaving? That is honestly the question that we've been faced with for 2 years. Are you leaving? And the answer is absolutely not. And the question is why? Because we believe that we should be in this community. Not that we have to be in this community, that we should be in this community. That if you're not in Connersville, Indiana, and you're not in Fayette County, why are you a community college? Now, that has taken on some different forms here, okay? And there's really good evidence to support this, not that just we believe it, but that we should be here. And you can see just in the fall numbers alone, this is Fayette County residents. That's just not high school students. That's not your traditional student. That's your non-traditional. That's folks there. You can see. Now it's gone down a little bit, there's no question. But in the fall semester, last fall, to say over 400 residents of Fayette County took opportunity at a community college to better and change the trajectory of their life. That is significant. Now you'll also notice a couple things here that are important. We do a lot of Ivy Tech speak, so Region 9 just means the region, those 5 counties that we talked about. 9, 10, and 9 additional campuses. That means the rest of those folks, the minus there, 415 Fayette County residents, 326 are in our own region, so they probably took it either at the Connersville facility or in the Richmond facility. The other ones took it in 9 additional campuses across the state. It means they got online, okay? But even when you get online, you need an academic advisor. You need folks that will help you with financial aid. And that is what our presence in this county, it matters. There's evidence of good work being done on behalf of your students. And let me give you some really strong evidence that your administration, when I said they get it, they get how to develop a college-going community. Dual credit and early college program at Connersville High School is, I believe, probably the strongest we have in the region. Really is. I think Principal Judd absolutely hires with a mentality behind the philosophy of this program. And that is not an easy thing to do. There are many high schools that don't understand that and don't hire with that in mind. And I'm telling you, it makes a world of difference. I want you to think about this. If you're a high school student entering Connersville High School, you can absolutely leave there with a credential. Now that statistic is really important upon graduation. Now by the way, people get nervous when I say that because you've got to graduate high school before you can get a credential. You can't do that in reverse, and everybody's in favor of that. All right. Now, I'm going to give you, and I'll pass this around. By the way, this year alone, 3 of your graduates walked out of here with a General Core Transfer Certificate. And what that means is that 30 hours, 30 credits transfer automatically. Every state institution has to take those 30 hours, completely transferable. 3 of your high school students, a day upon graduation, earn the General Core Transfer. That's critical. What you're looking at right there is the business administration. Okay? A business administration technical certificate, there is a pathway to do that. Now, what does technical certificate mean in business administration? It means you have 1 year under your belt, and you take that to any public school, any public college in Indiana, and those transfer. You are halfway to an associate's, and you've done that for free. There are 2 classes that are on here, okay, that are not provided under dual credit. And look at the partnership in there. One of those courses that you take is from Indiana University. So it's not like we're just the alone provider of this. This is a multiple tiered program. But if you take that, you can walk out of here, the 2 classes, and here's some of the really exciting stuff we think are going to be coming in the future. You can take those 2 classes, and we will scholarship that. We are working on programs to scholarship those 2 classes. We are working on specific programs to embed them in the high school. And that's coming because of a lot of the conversations. Through Ivy Tech, just this year alone, Connersville High School earned 784 credits through dual credit. Now, Principal Judd will know this, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You have other Ivy Tech campuses. This is just the ones that we get credit for, okay? The ones in this region. But there are other Ivy Tech campuses that they take dual credit through that we don't offer in our region. Other colleges and university, Indiana University, their program. And obviously we don't count in Connersville High School. We separate out the Career Center. So that 784 are just Connersville High School students. That's a significant number. That's over 260 college classes that your students were able to earn with no charge. An investment on the future of your students. Now, what I want you to know is this: because of the conversations that have taken place, because of the work and the patience of your staff and your administration, and trust me, there needed to be a lot of patience along the way in this. We have come to some really exciting news for Connersville. We have critical work that has taken place. Dan Parker is here from Economic Development. Critical work has taken place to ensure that we have been able to stay in the facility that we were there. Now, why is that critical? That's critical because we have a home base, and that's a good thing for us right now. But it was also good in the process that we began to have an open dialogue with the local schools to say, how can we partner together? And I'm telling you, Fayette County Schools said with open arms, what can we do to help this process? This was critical. No one will know the amount of time behind the scenes that was put into something we didn't know really how it was going to turn out. And that central conversation and plans, I was just saying to Principal Judd, today, just today, I had one of our academic leadership come up to me and say, hey, you know, I've been thinking about this Connersville High School thing. Now, first of all, you need to understand, that's like a monument, that's like a huge deal, okay? I've been thinking about how we can get a class within the school. And so we were just talking about how long it would take to embed, and we are really going to have an offering. I have no doubt this time next year we'll be able to say to you, here are the offerings that we are embedding in your schedule. And when I say embedding, meaning we do the dual credit, but not many times, because there are limitations to dual credits offerings. We're talking about teaching college classes within your school, within your day, available for high school students. That is really, really the best possibility for your students. Think about that they can finish the necessary requirements that they have and move themselves closer to a college degree. And I think the critical partnerships, and I think Mr. Parker would tell it the same thing, which is workforce development, economic development, schools and your community college working together in order to help the workforce issues that are in this county. The greatest economic development issue we have in the state of Indiana isn't jobs, it's workforce. And we're working on that right now, and I think part of that's because of what's happened within the last 6 months. We're dedicating a mission representative to Fayette County, someone to recruit your students, an accelerated associates program that will be housed in our Connersville facility. We anticipate it being business administration, so I want you to try to picture this. You're a freshman in high school at Connersville. You can walk in, you follow the dual credit program, you get all the way up to 2 classes away from a technical certificate. You get scholarship for those that are embedded in the spring semester at Connersville High School. You walk out with a technical certificate, you go down to our facility. Within the course of 1 year, 2 semesters, you will complete your associates. In a couple slides, I'm going to tell you that we have already been contacted by a 4-year institution that is talking about offering an automatic entry for those business administration students with associate's degrees, an automatic entrance into a master's program that they will teach online in our Connersville facility. An MBA within 4 years of graduating high school. Half of it being paid for. And this, I know that everyone, especially Dr. Hodges, especially Principal Judd, will be most excited about. The College Success Coordinator, which we are in the process of gaining applicants, and we'll be hiring that person in the next couple weeks. They are a College Success Coordinator and Academic Advisor that will be embedded in Connersville High School. They will be an Ivy Tech employee. 3 days a week, they will, well, and probably will be more than that, but there's some rationale behind the 3 days a week, which we won't get into, that the College Success Coordinator will report to the high school. They're going to be a counselor, with the idea that they have one job and one job only, and that is to get as many students, Connersville, funneled in the direction of college. Now notice I didn't say Ivy Tech College, community college. College. We know that this is critical need to create a college-going community. And it is our belief that this type of model is the best way for us to communicate our story. Not the Ivy Tech story, but the college-going story. And that will start this year, and we're very, very excited about that. And so we'll be hiring that. Principal Judd will be in the process of finalizing that candidate when they are in the interview process, and then we are excited for them to start when your teachers report for duty. And again, a lot of this I've said to you, but 2 different higher ed have already talked about what we're doing and the freedom of what they can possibly do within this facility. We're going to expand our course offerings at Connersville campus. We're going to creatively service Connersville High School students in dual enrollment classes with scholarship opportunities. Dual enrollment is different than dual credit because they have maximized the dual credit, and now they are actually taking courses that will align with their schedule. And there is a plan to embed a training opportunity, a computer-based training opportunity such as Manufacturing Matters, actually at the high school for high school students, so they can become a certified production technician. And I promise this is the last slide. And here's why. Because we got a ton of work to do, okay? 35% of your grads, the last data, 35% of college graduate or high school graduates at Fayette County didn't go to enroll in any post-secondary education. This is not a dramatic statistic. It's a statistic that is pretty consistent throughout our region. 19% of the Fayette County residents have a post-secondary credential. Indiana, right now is at 41%, and we have a goal of 60%. Our new president, Dr. Sue Ellspermann, who's a former lieutenant governor, has a really great phrase. If we're going to meet that 60% post-secondary credential goal by 2020, we need 1 million more people to graduate, and we need it to do them tomorrow. We've got our work cut out for us, and we have to do it county by county, school by school. It's critical. And 75% of those 1 million that we need are at the associate's level for training, for work ready, for all the things that are necessary for a growing community. So here's what I'm telling you, is all of this information should sum up in this story like this, is these folks around this room care a great deal about Connersville and Fayette County. And they really have thought outside the box in order to ensure that the best opportunities for your students are here. And we're excited to be a part of that. We're thrilled that we're just getting the top of the layer. I think this can go a lot deeper, and I think 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, we'll be talking about some really great successes. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today. I hope it didn't take too much of your time. I know how these meetings can go. But I will just say to you that it has been an absolute pleasure over the last 2 years to work with your school corporation. Does anybody have any questions for me?
What about the students that want to attend Ivy Tech that are no longer in the high school? I think this is the issue of, will
Sure.
Ivy Tech be here? Because a facility problem. Clearly, you're doing a wonderful job with the kids in the high school. What about the disenfranchised worker, somebody that's going to need further education? Is there going to be a facility, a physical plant here for them to attend?
Absolutely, 100%. And that, if that was not, I hope that is clearer in this picture. What the Economic Development Group did was we worked with ownership of that facility.
Okay.
And that now, the new owner of that facility is Economic Development.
Ah,
That has been donated and gifted to them. So our landlord
is
is
Dan.
Dan.
Oh, okay.
And he has, and so what is being created is really a workforce center.
Okay.
Work One will move into that space. We are reducing our square footage, and we are, there are several other entities that we're hoping to get into that same place. So as we are working with the school, this has been a byproduct of addressing that issue of what about that physical space that we need in this area. But it's really, I'm telling you, this whole deal here has been an unbelievable partnership to make that happen.
That's great.
When you offer classes at high school that are Ivy Tech classes, you said?
Yes.
Have you determined what that class is going to be, or what type of class it's going to be, or?
No. We will have, the two that are on, the first thing that we would like to do is ensure that those 2 classes are offered there and embedded within the schedule. So that what that means is we want to make sure that those classes fit in with the high school schedule. We don't want to come in and say, hey, we're going to do this on Tuesday from 8 to 11 because that's what colleges do. What we want to do is say from 9 to 10, Monday through Friday, we have an opportunity to teach a class or classes within that time frame from for 16 weeks. That takes a little bit of time. That would not be something that we could pull off tomorrow. It will take a year for us to gain any momentum, even if that were to happen. But I definitely think that there are opportunities for the high school students within the high school to have have those college experiences. I think that will grow as this program grows, and quite frankly, as that embedded personnel does a great job of moving students along.
How many courses on the core transfer list are actually taught here in town? Or online?
Whoa. you can get your general core transfer here at the 30 hours here in Connersville. You can get all 30 of those. You can also get all of your business administration associates here at Connersville. And you can get a liberal arts, well, I shouldn't say you can get all the way there. You can get 95% of the way through a liberal arts program at this facility. There are a couple classes that you would have to take online or would have to take at another one of our facilities.
Do you offer most of those classes in the summer?
No. No. And in fact, here's what I would say to you is there was a time where it was very full and we have reduced our schedule. But most of them are in the evening. Far more people. 500 students were there in the fall. About 435 actually were physically taking classes in the spring. But we have reduced our hours in cost savings mode. This is why this whole thing, in terms of us being able to have a cost-effective model, has been critical. So we can expand offerings. Everything we've been doing right now is to try to figure out a way to save a nickel in order to keep the lights on.
Before Chad sits down, I gotta tell you folks, this is exciting stuff. You know, we talked a lot about preschool, and we're proud of what we're trying to do at that end of the education spectrum, but I'm as excited about this on the other end. When you stop and think, within 4 years of graduation, you can have an MBA and not leave Connersville, Fayette County. That's absolutely incredible, and thanks to Chad. I'm Vice President of Economic Development Group. Chad and I were having conversations about what if this doesn't work out. Dan and I were having conversations about how to make, the one common thread was, what do we have to do from Economic Development or from Fayette County School Corporation to keep you here? And Chad's been very open. We're not going. But it's because of those conversations, I think we've ended up with something tonight that is just absolutely exciting. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chad, for being here. So, Mr. Judd, do you have anything else you wish to say?
No, I don't have anything further other than to say it has been a pleasure to work through the process, and we're looking forward to see what happens to those students and the young people in Fayette County.
Thank you.
Mr. Judd, please keep reminding parents how much money they're saving by having their children participate in this program. Those of us that have had to pay college tuition are very, I'm sure you are very cognizant of this, are still paying, are very cognizant of it also, that this is just, economically, this just makes sense for everybody. Yes, so the figures that you put out at graduation about how much money was saved, lots of people talked about that, like, whoa, you know, that was fantastic. So
It's interesting to be at the 8th grade parent meetings where we talk about early college, high school, and when you start talking about the money that can be saved, those parents, you can see their eyes widen and their ears go like that. The kids don't get it because they don't understand the time and the money, but the parents get it. And we have a very large crew of 8th graders coming into our early college, high school.
Excellent. That they worked. I know Victoria and Cindy had worked very, very hard to put that group together, but that's just great.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, then we'll move on. We need a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
I'll make that motion, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Kirschner. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. Are there any patron comments on any of our agenda items? I don't think there are. Hearing none, we'll move on to our consent agenda. In the consent agenda, we have the approval of the minutes from the regular business meeting of June 14th, 2016. The personnel report, which contained retirements, resignations, leaves of absence, etc. The approval of the June 2016 claims number 43351 through number 43546, and the approval of the St. Gabriel's Food Service Agreement. Okay, you had a chance to look those over. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ms. Savoy. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hunt. Any discussion or questions about any of those? Then all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. Now we move into the action items. First, we have the personnel report. Dr. Bayer.
Thank you, Mr. Burchett. Dr. Hodges, and members of the board, we have several persons for your consideration this evening. Many of them are new teachers as we move into the preparation for the 16-17 school year. All these folks listed would be starting August the 8th at their respective buildings. Taylor Oy at Grandview is an elementary teacher. Kristen Davis is a culinary arts teacher at WCC. Ian Devereaux, social studies, CHS. Alita Eden, Grandview Elementary. Matt Hafer-Teppen, social studies, CMS. Jessica Hartle, elementary at Everton. Grace Havlin, elementary at Everton. Nancy Myers, Spanish at CHS. Melissa Simpkins, language arts at CMS. Lene Smith, speech language pathologist assistant at Eastview and Grandview. And Molly White, elementary at Everton. In addition, support staff member Mindy Gordon, family services coordinator at Fayette Central. She would begin her duties July the 25th. In addition, we have some summer school support as well. Those persons would be Sarah Gross as assistant band director for 26 hours, Jamie Ham 15 hours as guidance at CHS, Dora Jones cosmetology 126 hours, and Catherine King cosmetology July 6th to July 29th. Those persons for your consideration this evening, Mr. Burchett.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bayer. You've heard Dr. Bayer's personnel report. Do I hear a motion to accept his report?
I'll make that motion, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ms. Savoy. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Any questions or further comments? All those in favor, please show your right hand. Opposed? And the motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bayer. Then we have the resolution for Alquana School property. Dr. Hodges.
Thank you, Mr. President. Board, in your packet, I've given you a copy of a resolution for your consideration this evening that would essentially transfer the property at Alquina to the Jennings Township folks. And in my background, I told you there were some uncertainties. I did go down to the Everton Fire Department fish fry over the weekend and had a conversation with Jason, and he said that they were going to be having a meeting yesterday or today with the township. They've passed their resolution, talked with Marcia today and exchanged some emails, and she said we are ready for you as a board to pass that resolution. The work there as far as the demolition and seeding of the property and everything, that's complete. So tonight we're asking you to adopt this resolution. And with that, the only thing that would need to be done is execute a warranty deed, and that can be done with the signature, I think, of the board president, unless there's an objection to that. So tonight, my recommendation to you is that you adopt this resolution that's in your packet regarding the Alquina property.
So when does this actually take effect? Would that be tonight, or would that be when the warranty deed?
When the warranty deed, where we are right now, we have commitment from the attorney that's working with Jennings Township that they have adopted the resolution. We don't have their signatures together. We're going to ask you to sign this resolution tonight, assuming that you pass it. And then I will get copies of that to Marcia, and when she has both resolutions with signatures, she'll prepare the warranty deed and then send that to me, and we'll get that executed.
So at the time that we sign that warranty deed is when the property becomes theirs?
That's correct. I put it in terms of when will we be able to contact our insurance company and say, cancel our policy, let's then talk to our mowing contractor and say, we don't need you to mow anymore. When is that? And that's when the warranty deed is executed. That's my understanding. We've got two people that deal with real estate, so you may be
That's
more
pretty much
familiar
the way
with
it works
Yes,
in
Yeah.
the real world.
Yes.
Okay, you've heard the report from Dr. Hodges regarding this resolution for the Alquana School property. What is your pleasure regarding this item?
Mr. President, I
Mr. Taylor.
move that we accept the resolution for the Alpine property.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Taylor. Do I hear a second?
Mr. President, I'll make that second.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Any further comments or questions? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries 5-0. Okay, thank you, Dr. Hodges.
Thank you.
Now we move into our discussion items, the Chartwell's Food Rescue Program, and Dr. Baer, we'll start with you.
Okay, thank you again, Mr. Burchett, and members of the board, Dr. Hodges. We've been fortunate over the past 6 years or so in our relationship and contractual agreements with Chartwell's to be involved in several special initiatives, those being the food truck, other educational opportunities, and learning opportunities for our students and staff. And we have one that began just this spring, and Rachel O'Brien is here as our food service director. Joining her will be Tara McCreary, dietitian at Chartwell's, and Paul Kendall, regional director, is also here tonight to share a brief presentation on what we call a food rescue program. We started the implementation of that in the spring of 2016, just a few short months ago. The K-12 Food Rescue Program really connects schools with caring agencies willing to pack up packaged and unpeeled food from trays of students who choose not to eat those items for whatever reason. Ran into some legalese and not being able to do some of these things for a while, and then the laws have changed, and the federal laws have relaxed a little bit to allow some of these to occur. And with it, that's provided a great opportunity for learning for our students and assisting others, as well as being an environmental awareness protection program as well. I'd like to thank Janie Kelentala. Janie is over at the high school from time to time, has lunch over there, and she had some real frustration she shared with me and others about all the wasted food that was going on there. She saw that on a daily basis in a large building. And to her push and encouragement, that was great. And I had seen that as a Kiwanian and the amount of different types of food that we serve at the Salvation Army. Noticed there was never any milk for the children, never any types of fruit. There was a lot of sugary drinks and things that just were, I felt, not very appropriate for many of the children who are coming through to receive those meals. So as a result, we began to look at some opportunities, and here tonight, I'm gonna, I think without stealing any more thunder and giving enough lead in here, I'm gonna turn it over to Rachel and Tara and let them run with the ball. So all yours, ladies.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We're here to just kind of give an overview of the food rescue program, and then we're going to give you some insight as far as numbers of items we've donated per building, some of our partnerships in the community. So Tara is going to kind of handle the background tonight, kind of give you a little bit of the information about the food rescue program.
I can go ahead and start. So, good evening, y'all. I was just going to go through kind of the background. I'll start with the,
Just click.
oh, maybe that's it. Yep,
There we
there we
go.
go. Kind of start with what is Food Rescue. Dr. Baer gave a great intro of like how we found it. Food Rescue is a nonprofit organization that was started in Indiana, and its main goal in life is to take unused, undamaged food items and redistribute them essentially to food banks, shelters, where they're needed the most. So if you want to think of it, they find these shelters or food banks in your community, and they connect you with that. Initially, they started out with restaurants, but they really seen the need with schools and across the nation. I think up there we have how many cafeterias waste of an average like 60 items per day. So we can just use that, just basically to redistribute those food items to help someone in need. So that's what Food Rescue does, okay? So it sounds like they've done a great job in connecting us with Salvation Army here, and I for one, being from here, that's awesome, okay? I've been to the Salvation Army here, and that's just great. And there's so many benefits from this program. The one main thing, something that I'm passionate about, is making sure that those families, those kiddos that come through those food shelters have good food items. Honestly, you know, I've been in the school food service, so they're going to get healthy food items, okay? Good milk, fresh fruit and veggies. So anything that the kids don't want, and you see that in bold up there. We're not encouraging them to just donate whatever food they will. This is food items that they just can't eat. So that's unopened, undamaged food items that they place. I haven't been here to say for sure what you all has identified, but we have a bucket at our food district, school district, and they put it in that identified food rescue bucket, and so we use that to then take to this food shelters. Obviously it's going to help with the environment. Food that is hanging out in the landfill is not going to produce very environmentally friendly gases and stuff, and you see that up there as well. So there's just so many good benefits. Ultimately, this program's not costing you all a thing. So that's like a really big thing to think about. This is a great way just to connect with the community. It's a great community partnership. And overall, you're getting the ability to connect the children with a good, well-rounded learning ability to see that there's more to this community than just coming and going to school. I can use this opportunity to learn more about how can I pay it forward, in a sense. What does this mean? What does it mean to have this piece of fruit? Okay, so that's what I really love about this. You can do so much more than just, hey, drop your piece of your apple that you're not going to eat in the bucket. And in front of you, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about, is a nice document that Food Rescue has. They have a lot of resources, a lot of tools. If you ever want to go on there, it's foodrescue.net. And they have a lot of videos, student videos. I know the middle school ones on the website. So they just do a good job at marketing and getting resources out so districts don't have to think of it themselves. But this is one thing, and this goes over the liability that a lot of people have. They're like, I don't want to give this food away because what if I get in trouble, right? What if the temps weren't held or whatever? Well, there is an act that was in 1996. It's the first bullet point. It's the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Food Donation Act. And it was put into the Richard Russell National School Lunch Act. So that's the main thing that we work under, okay? And so this covers everything. So once we have decided to give those food items to Salvation Army, for example, or whatever food bank it may be, we are covered, okay? That's the Good Samaritan Act that covers us. And it's explained. I want to say it's in the middle part of that page, but we are covered completely by that act, all right? So you don't have to worry, in essence, all right?
Okay, thank you, Tara. And as you can see, it says Indiana schools waste an average of 60 unopened. We definitely are donating more than that per day here. So kind of in our numbers, you're going to see right now our schools that are participating, the high school was our pilot school, and then middle school and Grandview Elementary came on in May. Everton, we're going to start that at the beginning of the school year. So we try to do a school a month. That way we can make sure we get in and train the kids that this is a program to keep the food out of the landfills. That's how you want to present it to them. You do not want to present it as a food donation program. We want the kids to eat it if they're hungry first. So that food is there for them first. Our partnerships, so the high school, we've been donating to Salvation Army. I spoke to Jennifer actually yesterday, and she has been very thankful for those food donations. They have used them in their soup kitchen, and they have also used it in the food pantry. She said none of it is going to waste. They're very happy with the milk and the fresh fruit. So she's been very happy with the partnership. The middle school, we have partnered with the senior center. They have also been very happy with the partnership. And Grandview Calvary Baptist Food Pantry. I've been trying to partner people up that are close and vicinity. That way it's easier for the pickup and of the product. Everton's a little bit different. It's kind of out there. So community sharing, we're partnering with them starting August 10th. So we actually have some volunteers that live in Everton that are able to come pick it up and take it to community sharing for us. Here's the numbers. So the high school, this started in March. So we've had 6,387 items donated from the high school to the Salvation Army. Middle school, started in April, and we've had 5924. So the numbers are pretty powerful when you look at that. That was what was going into our trash before we started donating this. Middle school's a little higher. We do universal breakfast there, so we have more waste than the high school does existing right now. So Grandview, we started that in May. School was over, it was only about a couple week period, so we only had about 170 items. I see that will probably go up this year once we have a bigger variety. But we've had a lot of items. I mean, that's really powerful when you look at the numbers. So part of the training aspect for the kids, the high school did a video and the middle school did a video. These right on the announcements, they were student-led videos. So I talked to the teachers and the kids came up with the ideas for these videos. The middle school video is on the Food Rescue website, so foodrescue.net, and some of our pictures and information are also on there. But the kids kind of took the lead on this. We gave them the basis for it, and they did a really good job. So these ran about 2 weeks before we started the programs at both buildings, just to give the kids an idea of what the program's about. So I'm going to play the video here.
Really cool.
Yeah, they did a really good job at the middle school.
They
I
were
liked
really
it. The high school did too.
Breaking news, live, inside the CMS cafeteria. That math homework was ridiculous.
It was so hard.
I don't want it. You guys want this apple? Dude, you throw the apple away. Okay.
No,
What?
don't throw that apple away.
Why not?
Because there's people who need that.
Okay, what about it?
Well, you may not need it, but people in the community might.
Okay, what can I do about that?
Read the bin.
Uneaten fruits.
Yeah.
Has it been there the entire time?
No, it's recent. You want food, you put it in the bin, and go to senior center and they get food.
That's pretty smart.
You have to turn it up.
CMS students and staff, in case you were unaware, schools are now legally able to donate uneaten food. Starting April 11th, we will be doing our part by taking unused food items to the cafeteria for donations that we will be making to the Senior Center's food bank and to supply their meals. We've done our part at CMS. Now you do yours!
They did a really good job. So, high school did also. Theirs was a little bit more news anchor based, so it was like a news story. So they did a great job too. That's pretty much. I mean, that's the program in a nutshell. Does anyone have any questions about the food rescue program? About our plans with it?
Can other churches or anything partner get involved in?
Yes, and that's what we've been trying to do, like strategic partnerships. And I've already had some other churches here in Connersville reach out to me. They hear it through the grapevine. So community sharing was one of those. Higher Praise has reached out to me. So hopefully we can partner those in with some of our other elementaries this year. And that way we're spreading the wealth to everyone. So it's spread out through the whole community. So it's been working really well.
And I think the one thing I wanted to share with everyone is, first of all, Janie and Dr. Baer, Dr. Hodges, thank you for the opportunity with this program. But it's been very instrumental. We've had such success here in Connersville, and some other pilot sites that Sarah has helped us. Of the new initiative for us as a company, and something I set forth to my team just recently, about a week ago. So we're going to drive this to every school in Indiana by December, right? So every single school, 16 school districts, that's 86 schools throughout that Chartwell's manages business throughout the state of Indiana. It's going to be on this program. We think it's a real powerful thing. It's the right thing to do, and it really doesn't cost anyone anything but a little bit of effort and care. So I want to thank you two for being instrumental in that. But it's a fantastic program, and the partnership here at Fayette County has just been phenomenal. It's allowed us to really expand what we do as a company. We're actually going to be have the opportunity here in about a week to share this to the rest of our North Central region. It's been so successful now, our company asked us to also put together a presentation on how we can launch this nationwide. So we have over 600 school districts throughout the United States, and we think that this is the model to go and grow throughout there. So we really think that it's going to really take some serious legs. And I have one other thing that I was really excited about, and I'm sure we'll take time later on to tell everyone more detail, but I happen to have an opportunity to look at finances, something I do every once in a while, and I like to look at the amount of meals that we serve. And so at the end of the day, when I evaluate a school district and how we're doing, in this school district, from 2014-15 school year, 2015-16, we served 21,000 more meals year over year. That's just a staggering amount of meals. So, you know, I think that's a great testament to everyone here and to Rachel and the job that everyone's doing here. It's fantastic. That's a lot more kids we're serving.
And that kind of ties in with one little more tidbit, and then I'll let you guys go. But part of that was universal breakfast implementation last year in August at Everton. So this year, starting August 29th, we are going to start a new program here at the high school. It's going to be Second Chance Breakfast. So the kids are going to be it'll be universal type breakfast, so it'll be free to everyone at the high school. And we'll have 4 different stations. And it'll be carts set up in different parts of the campus for the kids to come at 9:10 and get a free breakfast. So Mr. Judd has been very helpful with that, and he actually brought it to my attention, and we received a grant from the Action for Healthier Kids to help cover a lot of the costs. So I think it's going to be a great program here at the high school and really help us serve more kids that maybe, for the most part, can't afford to buy breakfast. So I think it's really going to help us this year too with the kids. Okay, thank you.
Rachel, Tara, thank you both for being here. I didn't catch your name, I'm sorry, sir.
That's Paul Kendall.
Okay, well, thank you. I think it's a wonderful thing. It's terrible to see this wasted
Yes.
food. I mean, really. So,
Yes.
when they're hungry people that could use it. So,
Yes.
thank you for coming to inform us.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, this is, of course, just a discussion item, so no action needed on our part. So now we move into the board policies. I guess, Dr., who's going to take the lead?
I'll take the lead on this
Okay.
one.
All right.
Board, in your package, you had copies of 4 policies for first reading. The first 2 are new for us. One has to do with collections and forgiveness of debt. That comes through some guidance that we were receiving from the state, and hope you've had a chance to read that. Internal controls also has to do with fiscal responsibility of the school corporation. And there again, those are things that are being recommended to us by the state. The next one has to do with criminal history checks. You may recall the last General Assembly, there were some changes in that statute, and policy 3.23 highlights what those changes are, brings us into compliance with current statute. And then we have a wellness policy, which I think is probably appropriate to be talking about tonight, since we're talking about food rescue and nutrition. Some of that's addressed in the policy here, but there again, it's an update. A lot of things changing through a lot of different avenues of public education, but also in the area of health, wellness, and food. So we're here tonight for first reading. Apologize for being a little bit late by your clock. I was right on time by my clock. We need to get the clock synchronized in this building. But Policy Review Committee was going over these, and we're comfortable for first reading tonight to be bringing those back to you in August. So if you have questions, we'd be happy to entertain those this evening, or as those might arise, if you want to shoot me an email and raise questions, that'll be fine at that point.
These are changes, some of the changes are rather interesting, and I would urge my other board members to please read particularly the wellness one in detail, because it's got a lot of good, it's got a lot of good policies, but we had a very good discussion at first reading, and I'd really like other board members' input. I did my homework, I took notes, and Dr. Bayer is also going to provide me with a little bit more background information that I needed on a few things. But this is, if we choose to undertake this, particularly this wellness program, this is going to be to cause some fundamental changes in the way we do a few things. As far as activity levels are concerned, we're going to put those kind of at the top of the list, as opposed to, when we have time to do them. And I think we need to do that, but I would encourage everyone to please read this very, very carefully and ask questions. Dr. Bayer can answer some of them, but some of them are just code things, but other things are things particular to Fayette County and that we can tailor to meet the needs of our students. So, some really good stuff.
Okay, you've heard the first reading comments regarding these policies, so if you have any questions or whatever, make sure that you be in contact regarding that. In the next meeting, we'll take action, is that correct?
That's correct. That's the plan.
Okay. All right, that then brings us to the end of the discussion items. Are there any public comments from anyone in the audience regarding issues? Okay, seeing none, then we move into our report items. Superintendent's discussion groups reports. Seeing none, principal director reports. Okay, seeing none, Director of Human Resources report.
Thank you, Mr. Burchett. At your table tonight is a invitation for menu sampling, since we're talking foods. One thing we want to do is engage our public and involve our parents a little bit more so, and so Rachel is organizing a menu sampling, some new items that have come through, and we're going to be testing those to get some feedback on those and rating some of those new foods. And so we'd like to extend that invitation to each and every one of you at the table tonight on Tuesday, July 26th from 1 to 3 at the middle school. Imagine that's a cafeteria area there. To try some of these new items, get feedback on those and see which ones we want to add to our menu choices for fall. And then in addition, kind of following that, I've asked Rachel to begin to put together a group, and would like to have at least one board member to participate and look at the menus overall, how they're impacting our students. And I know Ann and I had a real nice discussion at the previously about that, and she's willing to help, I think, on that.
Yeah, I would like to be on that. I have some issues about calorie intakes, particularly for middle school and high school kids. Federal guidelines say one thing, and I get that, but a lot of our kids, that's the major meal of the day. And we have a responsibility to give a little bit more calorie intake for them. I think the lunches are about 500 to 700 calories, and that's supposed to be like 25% of their calorie intake for a day. It's not. That's like half of it. So I think maybe if we can make some adjustments in that way without getting ourselves in big trouble, that would be a great thing to do.
We'll look at that. Very good. In addition to that, a new teacher academy, you will be receiving a mailing later on this week to invite you to our new teacher academy. We should have approximately 23 new teachers. You approved many of those this evening. There'll be some more in August. August 1 through 3, there'll be an agenda. We encourage you to attend any and all of that if you wish. It ends with a Chamber of Commerce sponsored luncheon on the 3rd at the Miller Building. We hope to at least be able to attend that. Many of you have done that in the past. So all that information will be forthcoming to you in a mailing in just a couple of days. And if you have questions, that'd be great. And we appreciate an RSVP, especially for the ordering of the meal on Wednesday. So with that, I believe that's all I have this evening. Mr. Burchett, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bayer. Now we move to the Director of Finance report.
Thank you, Mr. Burchett. Since we're on a food service jaunt this evening, I would like to share that we had a conference call this afternoon regarding the renovation at the high school of the cafeteria and the old dish room. Really exciting. It's just going to be smashing. And Paul assures me that it will be done and ready for the start of school. So we won't have any snags there. But hopefully at our August meeting, we'll be able to share that maybe we could go over and have a little tour of it. It's pretty exciting. And I think I'll bank the rest of my time since we're moving into budget season. You're gonna get an excess dose of me, so, thank you.
Appreciate your concern.
Thanks, James.
Okay, our Assistant Superintendent's report.
You received a memo from me about the fair and working the tent. Some of you already contacted Cindy. If you haven't, please do that here soon so she can get everybody scheduled for the time in the Fayette County Schools tent. The other thing, gearing up for the school year, so next time we meet, school will have started, so principals are all getting back to work, and we're going to be hitting the ground running next week with our planning and meetings, so excited about the school to start, the year to start.
Is Jumpstart started today?
Jumpstart will start Monday the 18th.
Okay, Monday the 18th.
Yes, for 2 weeks.
Okay.
With some really good numbers there. So,
Really?
Yeah, an increase from last year, so we're really excited. We reached capacity at some of the buildings with.
Really?
class
Oh,
size.
that's great.
So, excited about that, so. Come on out if you want one day next week to see all of our new kiddos coming on board.
All the elementary schools are participating, correct?
Yes, all 6.
All 6, okay, great.
Yes. That's it, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Collins. Dr. Hodges, Superintendent's report.
Yeah, a little bit of a reality check. We talked about that a little bit. By when next we meet to have second reading on those policies, we'll have already had New Teacher Academy. The free fare will be history. Opening day will have already happened, and by my calendar, I think we'll be meeting the night before school starts, actually, for kids on that Wednesday. So that's fine.
Correct.
That's it's really more my sanity check than yours. But things are moving quickly. There's a lot of things that haven't been done, still a lot of things to done. But as you can see this evening from just some of the reports, I think there's some really exciting things happening. One last thing, I don't always watch TV3 and watch our board meetings. Occasionally I do. And I think it was the last board meeting for the first time, I think they've changed out a camera. And so where resolution has been a little challenging sometimes to try to figure out what's going on, it looks a little bit different. So if you want to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning on Thursday to watch TV3 and watch our school board meeting, you're welcome to do that, and you'll be able to recognize some faces when they talk. With that, I'm done.
Fuzzy is not always bad.
Not sure if that was a compliment or what.
You know, it's one of those things, when some of you that have been around for a while may remember, we flipped ends of this boardroom. The board used to sit on that end, and this used to be the public. And when we did that, the last thing that I even thought about was the TV cameras. And so John Pause and I have had conversations kind of ongoing that we kind of messed them up on what we did. And so we do have a new camera, and it is very clear. So I just thought I would mention that, and I guess say thank you to them for, because really some of the quality that you have, you know, it's if that's really a reflection of what we're doing, even though we don't own that equipment, sometimes it's a little embarrassing. So I appreciate them being able to update that for us. That's more than I wanted to say.
The good of the cause is, do we have a report on Mr. Hilton? Has anybody talked to
I actually was up there yesterday.
Good.
So, yeah, he's having a tough time, I think, poor guy. But, yeah, he was glad to get visitors and all that. So he's staying positive, I think.
Good.
So
That's good.
he just doesn't like sitting there until I'm moving around. You know?
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Anyone else have a comment? All right, then seeing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Second, do I hear a second? Mr. Knight. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries, and we are adjourned. Great.